Okay, so the recording is on. So last week we were working on partitions, right? Okay, so we talked about all this here. Guys, keep practicing it. If you guys having any problem, let me know. Because we are at this point here, you just can't be like joining the class and then and then not worried about this, how to learn all this here. You have to practice at least 2 hours a day, and everything is right here. You have to just follow this. At least complete each step 2 or 3 times so that um, you know how things are going on. Okay, these are all very important, and all these things I'm showing you are used every day at your job. Every day, these things. So we created the partition here. So somebody asked me last week if I could extend the partition 1 while the partition 2 is still there. The answer is no, you cannot extend it because you have to have the partition blocks available here. So this one is kind of locked in, so you cannot extend partition 1, and then you could extend partition 2 here. So when we learn LVM, logical volume manager, then we will have access to extend any partition we want here. So when we're doing directly on the disk, there is no luxury here that we could extend partition 1 while the partitions 2 is still there. Okay, so we had a partition 4, partition 2 4 GB, so we extended to 6 GB. Okay, so we extend the partition, and this is so you can have maximum of 4 partitions, primary partitions. Okay, so if you're creating a partition, you could have 4. If you try to create a 5th one, it won't even create a primary partition. Okay, so if you want to create a 5th one, what you have to do is create a extended partition. Instead of primary partition, you have to make an extended partition. Within that partition, you could have a lot more partitions here. You would end up having more than 4 partitions. So in this picture here, you have 6 partitions here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually 5 partitions. Okay, it says extended partition, but the usable ones are logical 1 and logical 2. Okay. So extend the partition here. And we talked about inodes partition, multiple file system. XFS. So every most of this most of the companies are using XFS file system here. ext4 is slowly dying, but if you come across Red Hat 6, they're still using ext4 here because XFS was not default on it. Okay, so but Red Hat 7 has both ext4 and XFS file system installed here, so you could use both. But on 6, if you want to use XFS, you have to install a package here. So I won't worry about installing the package now because going forward we'll be using XFS file system. Okay. All right, good. So let's see here. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create we're gonna work on a swap partition. Okay. Swap. Okay, anybody knows what I'm talking about when I'm saying swap? What I'm referring to? Okay, so swap in the Linux environment is actually a virtual memory. Okay. So if you type free-h here, what is happening here is 1 gigabyte of system RAM we have. Okay, and 1.6 gigabyte is the swap partition. What happens is this swap partition is part of a hard drive. Okay, and is not going to be as fast as the memory, but it will be used as a memory here. So the thing about memory is it loads the operating system into it, and if you're loading any application, all the commands are in the memory because it's it need to load from the RAM into the memory so that it works. Memory is the present working area. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit here. Okay. So virtual memory, also known as swap file, uses the part of a hard drive to effectively expand your RAM, allowing you to run more programs that it could otherwise handle. But a hard drive is much slower than RAM, so it easily hurts the performance. So this when the system is using, so right now the system is not using the swap partition because it doesn't need to, because the RAM is not full enough. So if the RAM is at is it showing any percentage? So if the RAM is almost full, what will happen is the processes which are running on the system and which are not being used by the system right away, it will move to the swap partition here. Inactive processes will be moved to the swap partition. I'm going to go into Task Manager here for a Windows example so that you can have some visual. So at any given moment, these are the processes running in the back of your computer here. So I have Firefox. Okay, all these are running in the front, and then there are other processes. There are about 59 processes which are running in the background here. Okay, so when the memory is full, okay, so you could come here and see I have 8 GB of RAM, and 6.5 is being used. Okay, and 6.5 is in use, and okay, actually I'm using a lot of memory. Okay, so the virtual box takes a lot of memory, doesn't it? Or which one is taking a lot of memory here? Okay, so Chrome is taking, and these are all taking some memory here, and it's all adding up. And then the background processes too. So I have WebEx here. WebEx is taking quite a few, and I have too many WebEx sessions here. So sooner or later, what I need to do is I need to restart the computer so that the processes which are not being actively used should clear up. And I have some other Chrome processes here. So rebooting the computer every so often is really good for you. Okay. So these are Windows processes. So I have so many processes, so it's hogging up the memory here. So when you restart the system, it will clear up a lot of stuff here. Okay. So similarly, if you type ps processes -ef, so you could see these are all the processes running for the Linux environment. So when there is no more space, what will happen is it will move. System is just not gonna crash. What it'll do is it will automatically try to move the processes to the swap partition here. Okay, and this swap partition is on hard drive. Okay, how do you know? df-h. So when we allowed the system to automatically install the software for us, it has created a swap partition for us. So which one is swap here? So the swap partition is lsblk. Okay, so this is the swap partition here. So SDA1, this is our main hard drive. SDA1, SDA2 is the two partitions on it. Okay, SDA1 is about 1 gigabyte. It is being used for mounting. Okay, and then SDA2, and it is using it has two partitions in it. Okay, one is the logical partition. It has a root file system on it, and it's taking up 13 GB. Okay, and then the CentOS swap, this is the virtual memory here, swap partition, and it's using 1.6 GB. Okay, so we'll come back here why within a partition is using two partitions here. So it's kind of using the extended partition here, but it's called logical volume manager. We're going to learn a lot about that pretty soon. Okay, so So let's move ahead and create a swap partition here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna extend the swap partition here. We have 1.6, so we're gonna add more to it. Out of the hard drive here, out of this hard drive, we're gonna add more partition to it here. So when we come back here, free-h, instead of 1.6, when we add more, we'll find out how much more we need to do. It will show you how much more is added here, the total partition here. I'm sorry, the total swap available. So let's get a definition for swap. Okay, so let's work on this one here. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, yeah, this is good here. So let's match this with what we have here, okay? So we have 1.6 GB. So we have physical RAM is how much? Physical RAM is 1 gigabyte. So I'm gonna this is physical RAM and this is a hard drive. Okay, and so right now our problem is we need to extend this here. So how much we have is 1 GB. We have 1 GB. Okay, and let me move this here a little bit. And this is 1.6 GB. Okay, so 1 GB, 1.6. So the total usable space here is, total usable space is how much? 2 GB. .6 GB. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another 1 GB here. So it will be another 1 GB. So the total is going to be will be 3.6 GB. Okay, that's good enough here. So what is swap? Okay, I would say swap is standby memory. Okay, how's that? Standby memory. And it's a memory used from hard drive. Okay, so in this scenario here, real memory is 1 GB. Okay, and swap memory is memory is 1.6 GB. Total usable is 2.6 GB. Okay. And so swap is utilized. Okay. if the real memory is full, then swap is utilized. Okay, and OS, operating system, will move inactive processes to the swap memory. So think of it as a safety net. Think of it as a safety net for physical memory. So I think I explained this enough here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert here table. This is total, this is used, this is free, and this is shared. This is buffer and cache here. I would say don't worry about this here. You don't have to worry about this at this moment. Okay. So, okay, this information is good. Okay, now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this hard drive here and then make a partition, a swap partition in here. Okay, so that once we're done, we could visualize this. Okay, so how much I'm gonna create? One is 1 GB, right? Yeah. So the this is gonna be partition 3. One GB, and then it's going to be dev/sdb3. Okay, and this is going to be swap. This is going to be a swap partition. Okay, so let's do this. So how are you going to do the swap partition? It's pretty simple. Same thing as fdisk/dev/sdb. Before that you do lsblk. Okay, and you determine. Okay, you determine this is 16 GB, 6 GB and 4 GB. 10 GB is taken and you have 6 GB left. So you type fdisk/dev/sdb and hit enter. Okay, and it's going to ask M. Let's do M for menu. Okay, M and hit enter. Okay, now what we're going to do is we will create a partition here, create a new partition. So what is the option? N. Add a new partition. Okay, we're going to do N and hit enter. Okay, now is asking is it going to be primary or extended. So there are 2 primaries are already taken and 2 are free. So we'll just type P for primary and hit enter. Okay. And what is the partition number? Is going to be partition number 3. So default is 3 here. I hit enter. And he's saying starting here to here. So we have this much. This is where the starting point is. Okay. I think I mentioned this. These are starting sectors and ending sectors here. So if you start and then end here, that means whatever is left, about 4 GB or 6 GB will be used up here, but we're not going to do that. So we'll just at least start from the starting sector. Okay, and we'll just hit enter here. Okay, and it's telling you this information, and all we need here is plus. I'm going to give 1 GB. 1G, that's it. Plus 1G. Okay, and hit enter. Okay, so the partition is created here. Okay, so the starting sector and ending sector is here. This will make up to 10854 blocks, which will be 1 gigabytes. No. Okay, now look for the here. It says the ID is 83 here, right? So what we need to do is we need to change this here. So far, we've been blindingly, we will be accepting ID 83 here without any problem. But this won't be working if we are using this for a swap partition. We have to change the ID here, okay? So let's go into menu and hit enter. And uh, we need to change a partition system ID. Okay, so let's go in there, hit enter, and partition system ID. Okay, yeah, this one is good. Okay, and now it's asking for the hex code. Okay, so let's see a list of known partition type. So it's a different partition type. If it's not going to be XFS or ext4 anymore, so we'll do L and hit enter. Okay, so these are the supported partitions here. So we were using 83. Okay, but what we need to do is we need to use 82 now. Okay, but on the other hand, these are all the other file systems here. Okay, these are all the file systems that are supported here. So I have not seen in my job environment we are using all this here. If you have some special hardware going on, you could use this here. But look, it's supporting the Windows environment also, FAT32, Windows 95, 532. I think NTFS is here too. Novell, okay, that's 20 years ago. Who's using Novell? And hidden Xenix, DOS, Bolt, BIOS. Okay, I'm not worried about all this here. So what I'm going to do is, okay, you will be worried about only two so far, 83 and 82. Okay. 82 is what? Linux swap. So what I'm going to do is now change the swap. Okay, hit enter, and then L for list of part codes, hex code. These are hexadecimal codes, okay? And the code we are interested is 82, right? Yeah, 82. I'm going to type 82 here. And hit enter. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do print the partition information here. Now you see here SDB3 is this swap, it's this information here. So I'm going to put this here, might as well. So this is very important here. SDB3 is ID is 82. It's a swap partition. And then I'm going to write and exit. Okay. And I'm going to type part probe. So it will write the partition information to the kernel. Now if I do lsblk, I should see the I should see this information here, but we still have to make it a swap. We still have to format it as a swap partition here, okay? All right, so before that, let me complete this. B M N B, hit enter. Okay, and then you do part probe. Okay, now what you have to do is up here we use the command mk. What was the command we used? When we created a partition here, we used the command mkfs, right? So what we're gonna do here is, it's the same command but it's a little different. The command is mkswap, and which one you want to do is /dev/sdb3. Okay, you gotta be careful. I mean, if you run this, it's not gonna allow it anyway. So let me hit enter here, and setting up swap version, whatever. It didn't set up the label here, but it did set up the UUID. Okay, let's do lsblk. So now it didn't update here. So what you do is blkid. Okay, so if you run block id command, okay, so what do you see here is sdb3, and it has a UUID, and it is a type. What kind of type is that? And if you want to add a label, you could add a label too. Okay, I'm not worried about adding label now. So what you could do is you could start using it. How are you gonna start using it? It's pretty easy. So what will happen is you type, the command is swap on /dev/sdb sdb3. Before that we do free-h, and it says 1.6 GB, right? Now after we do this here, it should say the swap should be 2.6. So swap on /dev/sdb3. Okay, let's do free-h. Okay, now all of a sudden this is 2.6 GB. Okay, any questions? And then what you could do is you could make it permanent into the memory also. So Okay, etcfs tab. Okay, and you can use UUID partition or a label to mount it. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. You go to vi/etc/fs tab. Okay. And go ahead and copy this line here. YY. And then paste it here. So what you want to do is delete this part. dev/sdb. What is that? SDB3. Okay, and it's gonna mount to swap. Okay. So for the swap, all these things will remain same. Okay. I'm gonna save and exit. Okay, so how do you remove you swap on? What you could do is swap off /dev/sdb3. When I hit enter, it will be 1 gig would be removed, so it will be back to 1.6. So if I do free-h is there. Now you want to load it from fs tab, so you type swap on -a. Okay, when we did mount -a, it loads from the fs tab. Now if we do swap of -a, it loads the swap from fs tab. And you do free-h and 2.6 is back here. Okay. All right, that's good. Or you could do mount-a or swap on -a. Okay, to turn the somebody say they cannot hear you. Me. Okay, the mic is on. Can you hear me now? Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, good. Sayed, can you hear me? Okay. Can one more person confirm you could hear me? Okay. No, I cannot hear you. I cannot hear anybody. Yeah, you guys have been very quiet, so I don't know what the problem is. I could hear you guys. Okay, let me unmute some of you. Okay, all of them are unmuted. Can you guys say something and maybe I could hear anything? Oh, my speaker is low. Let me. Okay, now I still cannot hear anybody. Okay, so let me stop sharing here. And yeah, so let me go into audio connection. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Yeah, I hear some of you.
Yeah, can you hear us now?
Yeah, now I could hear all of you.
Okay, you're all speaking from 5 minutes and you're not able to hear us.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, the screen is on. Can you hear now? Can you see the screen? Okay, good.
Yes.
All
So
right.
still, I have one question. Like when I'm trying to create the partition for swap, I'm not able to see this. It's not asking me the hex code number, to enter.
Yeah, so you have to, before you exit, you have to type T.
Yeah, I type T, but it's again showing me the command M for help. It's not asking me the partition number again.
Okay, just, okay, give me your team viewer.
Okay, I'm posting you on
Okay.
webpage. One second. ID and password. I posted on webpage.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So I'm running this fdisk/sdb and
Do P here. Print the partition first.
showing
Okay.
two partitions over here. Then I enter new.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I select P. And I select three over here or just leave it default.
Yeah, default is hit enter.
And the first sector is also hit enter.
Yeah.
And here I select 1G, enter, and then M for help, and then LFO list, known host partition types. You see this.
Okay, now at this place, push M again. or actually push P again and hit enter. Okay, so the partitions are there. Now we need to change the ID 83 here. To change the ID, you have to push number T
Okay, number T.
and then hit enter again. Then now you need the hex code. Hex code was 82. So push L to get the code again. And
Yeah, it's
then,
82.
yeah, now just type 82 here. Now do P again to see it. There you
Yes.
go. Now write and exit. W enter.
Okay, got it.
Okay, now you do the rest of them, part probe and all that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, now you type mk swap.
Guess what?
Yeah, then type dev slash.
HDB3, right?
Yeah. Okay, so it made it. Then do blk id. Okay, now look for SDB3 and it says swap. Type is swap.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then,
then
okay.
go into etcfs tab. VI etcfs tab. And copy the swap line. Go up a little bit. Yeah, copy that. YY and come down and just do P. All the way down. P. And then edit it. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, everything else looks good to me. So save and exit. Okay, now clear the screen. Free hyphen H. So now do
It still shows one
yeah.
point.
So you have to turn the swap on. Swap on hyphen A. Enter. There you go. Now do free hyphen H. There you go,
Okay,
2.0.
got it.
Okay, I think you got it.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Okay, anybody else? Okay, good. So let's move on. Um, okay, so okay, so I'm thinking what else we need to do. We have a lot of time. And
Sir, I have one question. So, if we do DFF and H, the swap partition will not show us or what?
DFF and H. Um, yeah, the swap partition, it seems like it doesn't even show up the original one either.
Okay.
So DFF and H is disk information here. So it's not going to show you. The official way to see the swap is free hyphen H.
Okay.
So this is the swap here. And if you want to see more about the disk, you do BLKID.
Okay. And I have one more question, sir. Like, how do we come to know if the memory is full? Do we get any
Yeah,
notifications?
you will get. There is like a separate monitoring team,
Okay.
and I mean this is usually a big enterprise undertaking, so they will have
Okay.
monitoring tables, site reliability people, and all those.
Okay. Okay. So, will they ask us first to create the clear the memory, whatever tasks are running, or they want us to create swap like that, something like that? Like,
Yeah, if you end up landing in a engineering role, then you will work with the business team. Most likely you will work with application, which is going to be database team, that will
no.
ask you before all this. You will make a demo demo system, and then you will set this up, and the business will test it and they will approve it, and other stakeholders, they'll approve all this here. Once it does goes into approval, then it goes into production mode. So there are a lot of things going on in the background which are non-technical, and the project managers and all those would be looking into all this here.
Okay.
So all these things are not, definitely not a one-man show. And I think I told you guys one time here, if you get a job offer from a smaller company and they have only two or three people there, I mean, I would say don't take that job. It will be a lot more headache for you, and the salary will be not much. So try to get. I mean, most of the time in the environment you will go into, they will have like thousands of servers anyway. So they're a big team, about 15, 20 people in there. So you should be comfortable working with them. If the team is like 3 or 4 people, don't take those jobs. Not worth spending your time.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. Uh, so yeah, that's about it here for managing the physical disk here. So what I'm gonna start now is logical. So what we'll do is um, we'll create a logical LVM. It's called logical volume manager. So you will know the big difference how the logical volume manager is working compared to using the physical manager here. So now what I'm going to do is logical volume manager. Okay, so let's do it here, LVM. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys on hold for a minute here. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut this down, and what I'm gonna do is okay. So I'm gonna add some physical drives in here, okay? So I'm gonna go add. Maybe I should capture this here. You don't need screenshots here, right? You guys know how to add the drives now. So all you have to do is right click and add a hard drive here and create new and give it a name here. LVM1, and then give this 16 GB. Let me might as well capture the screen here while I'm here. So I'm gonna say add I'm gonna say one hard drive in 16 GB. Okay. I'm gonna move this here. Right click, add a hard disk. Okay. And create new. I'm gonna say LVM2 and make this okay, leave this alone as 8 GB. Okay, then right click and add a disk again and create LVM2. I'm gonna take a
Sir, we need we need to have these many disks attached, or are you using the available disks to partition it?
No, you this is a new concept here. We need 3 disk. It's a new
Okay,
concept, so go ahead and add three hard drives in there, okay?
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, once you get this concept here, then those are the logical concepts. You could work on it. But let's follow what I'm doing here. That way, you know what is going on.
So, what would be the storage for the second one, the LMV2?
8.
16? 8?
8,
Okay.
yeah.
And for the first one, it was 16, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And for the third one, put it on 24. Third one, 24. So I'm going to take a screenshot for the third one also. And okay, in the interview, if you kill the question about LVM, you are guaranteed a job. Okay, so this is that important. I'm telling you. You use this day in and day out every single day because its data is on it, so you use it all the time. Okay, so this should be enough here. Add 3 hard disks. Okay, and let me make it this as a part of LVM anyway. So
Keeping it fixed is hold on a second.
okay, yeah, just leave everything else default.
Default, okay. Not fixed?
No, never select fixed. What fixed is going to do is it will reserve 24 GB of your hard drive here. Don't do that. Keep it dynamic. What it is it is 24 GB, but it's going to expand up into 24 GB. But at the moment, if you're not using it, it will be just logically available there. So if you end up actually using 24 GB, then it's available, like expand automatically in the background. Okay, so you should look like this here. If you don't have this, don't worry about it. But you should have LVM2, LVM3, and LVM1, 2, 3.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, good. So finally you have this here. So let me put this also. Okay, I can't see this here, so this is big enough. Okay, so let's see here.
One more question.
Yeah, sure.
If I accidentally did fixed size storage, so how can I for LMV1? Can I just make another one because it's?
Yeah.
What do I do? Or can I delete this or no?
Yeah, delete it. So let's
Oh,
do.
there, I see it. Yeah, remove. Okay, got it. Thanks.
It may not allow you to give the name LVM1 again, so you don't give something else if you need to. Or let me know if you are able to keep the name same.
Okay, let me try.
You good?
Choosing the virtual hard disk because we are adding hard disk, right?
Yeah, so let me right click, add hard disk,
Yeah.
and then create new. And then leave everything alone here. Just give the name LVM1 or 2, whatever.
Okay.
and change the size.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, and then just click create.
Third one, first one is 16, the second one is 2, and the third one would be how much space? 8 again?
No, the second one is 8 and the third one is
24.
24.
Okay.
Yeah, third
Okay,
one is
thanks.
24, 8 and 16. First
Okay.
one.
I
Thanks.
Okay.
have a question. My system was corrupted, so a friend of mine installed the Windows, and I installed this everything again. So now I only have, if you see the Oracle Virtual Machine, just uh, one is the RHEL one, and the other one is the practice that you asked to create. And now when I'm going into the setting and trying to go into the storage and creating it, it's not giving me the option to create a hard disk, add a hard disk.
Okay, give me 2 minutes.
Okay, just a second. So I'll send it on the chat.
Okay, so
So if you see the Oracle machine below,
yeah, can you minimize WebEx? Do Windows M.
yes, sir. Sorry.
Okay, hold on. So where is your okay, it's automatically hiding.
So
Okay.
I usually keep a.
You keep it hidden here. Lock. Okay.
So, sir, if you on the desktop, you can. I think it's closed now. The on the desktop. Let me open so this Oracle machine.
Okay, good.
So when I'm going into the practice and going into setting and storage, so all that I did was lost because it all got corrupted. So now when I'm right clicking it, trying to do what you did today, it's not giving me the option.
Yeah, because it's on. Shut it down. Shut
Yes, sir.
down.
Sorry.
Shut it down first.
Okay.
Click cancel and Yeah, shut it down. Shut it down from party. Yeah, there you go.
So should I start now? What?
Yeah, go into settings. Storage. Yeah, now you should be able to create new
Okay.
and click on expert mode and just give the name LVM1 and here don't I don't prefer like moving the slider, just type 16.00. No, 0.00.
It's not taking, sir, the point.
Use it on the main. Don't use the number pad. Use on the one on right next to M or the question mark.
Okay, sir, I'm doing that, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean it's good then. I think just click create. Click on it, LVM1. Yeah, it's 16 GB. Yeah. All right.
So
Yeah.
similarly, add another.
Yeah. Yeah, this one is good. So just give the name LVM2.
One question.
Yeah.
As hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So as you were telling me, I that's what same thing here. Like I got the first one is 16.56. Do I need to change it, or does it have to be 16, or it can be okay 16.56? The second one is 8.26, and the third one is 24.59. Do I need to make it exact number?
I mean, for the visual purposes, I would like to have it exact number, but it's okay at this moment because you
Okay.
have to delete and make it again, so it's more trouble. Yeah, this
Okay.
one is 24 for you, LVM3.
LVM3 is, sir, how much?
24.
24. Okay.
Okay, just click create. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna disconnect here. Okay, so let me close this. So I'm gonna OK out of here and I'm gonna turn it back on. While it's doing that, let's create a visual here. So what do we have here? We have e- okay, so we have a physical drive. I'm gonna put everybody on mute. So we have 3 physical drives here, right? Physical disk, and this is 16 GB. We have another physical disk. This one is 8 GB. Okay, and we have another physical disk. which is 24 GB. Okay, so this is on. So I'm going to restart root, and then I'm going to say Red Hat. I'm going to clear this, and what will happen is I'll do lsblk, and we have all this 3 disks here. Disk 1 16 GB, disk 2 8 GB, and disk 3 is 24 GB here. So we have 3 disks here, which is sitting there and getting wasted here. So let's get started. So what will happen is, okay, let me put this down here. The first one is dev/sdc, and the second one is dev/sdd, and dev/sde. Okay, and we have all the 3 different disks here. I'm going to give it a different colors. Okay, orange, and this one is light green. Yeah, light green. And this one is okay. So what we're gonna do is we will have 3 disks here, and we will see how we're gonna use this 3 disk under logical volume manager here. Okay, so let's understand the definition here. So what is logical volume is oh, it's messing it up for me. It's better here. So 16, I'm going to squeeze the 8 here so that you could see it smaller. 24 is much bigger. Okay, but I'm going to squeeze it a little bit on the side here too. And let me make them evenly. Distribute rows evenly. Distribute columns evenly. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink 8 a little bit so that a physical drive is, one is 16, one is 8, and another one is 24. Okay. So before that, insert above. Okay, let's let's understand what is LVM here. Okay, so Okay, so I like this definition here. All right, we're gonna go 15 minutes over here. Is that okay with everybody? Because we lost some time. So,
I have to leave, so
oh,
I'll look into the recordings then.
no, we'll just stop here because, yeah, okay. We'll just catch up. We'll probably start right on time tomorrow, and then we'll go from there. So everybody, make sure you have all these drives ready tomorrow so that we could move forward from there. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna stop here, and then I'll upload the document as soon as possible. Okay, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir.
All right.